Hey guys, this will be the last thing that you'll do this year, so I'm sure you're excited. But this is the last thing that you'll do, and we've had practice writing in class before, but this is something that you'll have to do, and you'll have practice more in sixth grade, and that's being able to write an essay because you'll have to do that for sixth grade tests in social studies next year. Um, so I'm going to go over again kind of how to write one. We've done stuff like this before, so it's not completely new to you. But so one thing that we're going to do is that I want you guys to be able to do this, and this is what we were kind of doing this chart for, and that is to describe at least two rulers with iron fists. So we did all those videos, and I talked about all those rulers with you, and you read those chapters or those lessons. So we're gonna, and I'm gonna show you my example as well, just so that you kind of have something to look at. But this is kind of how I want you to get started on this. So there's going to be 4 parts to it, and I'll come back to this stuff later. But the first section is going to be your introduction, and it's going to be, I want you to write about 4 to 5 sentences. And I want you to try to answer these questions, and you'll have to go back to the introduction video of this Rulers with Iron Fist chapter, because I kind of answer some of these questions. And so you will have to write these in paragraph form. So like your introduction is going to be paragraph number 1. It's 4 to 5 sentences, and you're going to answer these questions in complete sentences. Those questions are: what does it mean to be a ruler with an iron fist? Why did they come about in the 1930s? And which rulers are you going to write about? Right. So again, you'll have to look back in that introduction video that I did. And I'll put all this in facts, just so you know. All right, so once you've got that, paragraph 1, you're going to move to paragraph number 2. And this is what what that chart was being used for, where you just kind of put like in bullet point form, where you looked at the rulers Stalin, Mussolini, Hitler, and Hirohito, and you just answered what country are they from, what's their political ideology, were they communist, fascist, national socialist, or an emperor, how did they rise to power, and then finally their beliefs. So you're going to take all of that information and you're just going to put it into a paragraph form. You're going to write them in complete sentences, and you're just going to put them in paragraph form. That's and you're going to have to use this chart. And so again, you should be able to write a good 4 to 5 sentences about these things. There are 4 questions, so you should be able to write at least 4 to 5 sentences. So yeah, and then you're just going to do the same thing with ruler number 2. Now again, when you write this, you're only going to write about 2, just 2 rulers. Don't write 3, don't write 4, just 2. Okay, and you're just going to do the same thing. Just going to answer these questions in complete sentences. Country, ideology, rise to power, and their beliefs. And then once you have written about your 2 rulers, you're going to move on to paragraph 4, and this should be at least 4 sentences. Right. So you're just going to answer these questions. What are your thoughts on these men? What do you wonder about? And restate the leaders that you read about. Right. And that should be at least about 4 sentences. So that is how you write that. And I'm going to show you my example in just a minute. But when you write, and again, it's a little bit harder doing this on a video, but I am trying my best. So when you write, here's a checklist. Did you write in complete sentences? Okay. And just, you're going to have these 4 checkbox. Did you write in complete sentences? Did you write in 4 paragraphs? And make sure you indent on those paragraphs. After you have written it, did you read it aloud? And does it make sense? If I were to read it, am I going to be able to make sense of it? And then finally, you're going to make corrections. Is your spelling correct? Make sure that you don't talk about Joseph Stalin when you're in your paragraph about Benito Mussolini, if you so choose. Don't write about two different people in the same paragraph. Okay? And finally, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Right? So that's kind of your checklist at the end. And I'll give you till the end of the week to do this, because this will be the only homework assignment for social studies for this whole week. All right. So this is, now I didn't write the whole thing, but I just kind of am giving you an example of a few paragraphs. So this is my introduction paragraph. Notice how I indented. Remember what indent is? You start from this red line, and then you just, about a finger length, you just move over, and you start writing. And then on your second, third, fourth, and all these other lines, you pretty much start right on the line. All right, so I'm just going to read my introduction paragraph that I wrote. So mine goes, the 1920s and 1930s saw the rise of some of the world's most infamous leaders. These men meant business and were driven by their quest for power. They were harsh and strict, yet prideful and strong. Their leadership guided their nations through the most destructive and horrifying war the world had ever known. I'm talking about men such as Joseph Stalin, Benito Mussolini, and Adolf Hitler. This gives a little insight into their beliefs and how they came to power. All right, so I'm going to go over my checklist. Did I write in complete sentences? I think I did. Did I write in 4 paragraphs? Well, I just showed you 1 paragraph. But did I indent? Yeah, I did. Did I read it aloud and did it make sense? Yep. And did I have to make corrections? Now, I've become a good enough writer where I could just kind of write with no or little corrections, and I kind of planned it out in my head before I wrote it. But as far as I know, there are little or no corrections. Now, it can be improved upon. When I read it out loud, there are some things that could probably sound a little bit better if I wrote it differently. But just as far as like grammar and like run-on sentences and stuff like that, there's not really in my paragraph. Right? So this is my introduction paragraph. And then I just started a new paragraph. This paragraph is about Joseph Stalin. So when it's a new paragraph, you indent. And then, of course, I didn't finish it, but that's just to show to indent when you start a new paragraph. This paragraph is on Adolf Hitler, so you indent. And then, of course, I would finish it. All right, so that might be, I know I kind of did my best to teach it in a video, but make sure you have an introduction, you have 2 rulers, just 2, write about 2, and then your conclusion. Because this will be good practice for next year. You're going to have 4 paragraphs, and you just answer these questions, follow my example, look back on the video, and I'll put it up on Facts so you can remember what I said. And then finally, write in complete sentences, write in 4 paragraphs, indent, read it aloud, and make corrections. All right, and be sure to use your chart. That is the main thing that you're going to use to help you write this. All right, just email me if you have any questions or you're struggling. All right, see you later.